today, as part of my pre-Pilates series, we're going to be looking at exercises that focus on the back line of our bodies. So our gluteal muscles that run across our bottom and all the muscles that run down each side of our spine. We're starting from lying on our fronts on a mat. And just come down into a comfortable position on your front and bring your head onto your hands. Relax your shoulders and reach your legs away from you. Legs are just slightly apart. And then position your pelvis to a neutral position. I don't want you to feel as though you are hanging out here in your lower back or that your hips have lifted away from the mat. So bring your pubic bone and your hip bones towards the mat. And then just breathe. Breathe wide into your rib cage and out through pursed lips. As you breathe out, feel as though the muscles that wrap around your waist are being gently drawn away from the mat, just as though they're being tightened up with cling film around your waist. So just bring an awareness to that band of strength around your waist, from your pelvis to your lower ribs. And now turn your legs out slightly from the top and lift a leg and lower. Use the out breath to lift, and I want you to feel as though you are really lifting from the belly of that muscle through your buttocks. So we're not lifting from our lower back or our hamstrings. Those muscles are helping this move. They're involved, they're not relaxed, but it's the glutes that are leading the way here. Lift up and lower down. And you don't need to lift too high here for it to be all glutes. And use that out breath to remind you about your abdominals, to keep you stable around that center. Just take one more on each side. And then we'll leave our legs in this slightly turned out position and come onto your forearms. Allow your head to lift off the mat, your neck to follow, your chest to follow, so that you are just on your forearms. And then lower down and replace your body and your head and your neck back onto the mat. Wheel away. It's like you're pushing something away with your nose, and then lift your chest. So this is upper to mid back, and then bring that down. And your lower back will respond, but it isn't leading the way. It's your upper and your mid back doing the work here in this breaststroke prep. And then bring that down. If you can think about the breathing, breathe in as you start to wheel off the mat and out to let your chest lift. And then lower down with control. Take one more like that. Lift up. And bring that down. And then bring yourselves up onto all fours. Have your hands underneath your shoulders, your knees underneath your hips, a neutral spine. Glide a leg away from you and let the opposite arm reach out in front. And then bring that back in and reach away. And return. Breathe out as you lengthen, and then in on the return. And we're trying to stay very stable in the center and very still around your waist, allowing those abdominal muscles to engage, particularly on that out breath. Just take one more on each side. Reach long and bring that in, and reach and bring that in. And then come back down onto your fronts. This time have your legs parallel but slightly apart. And we're going to lift both legs and lower down. Lift and lower, and allow your pubic bone to come towards the mat and your pelvis to stay towards the mat. Lift from your glutes and have a sense of length from your tailbone all the way towards the end of the mat and from the crown of your head. Really strong around your waist. Take one more like this. Keep your legs slightly apart. This time keep your hands on your forehead and lift your chest. And lower down. So a little bit trickier now that we're taking the weight of our arms with us. And again, we're not hanging out here in our lower back. Our lower backs follow. They respond to what our mid and upper backs are doing. And we're trying to gather strength between your shoulder blades, around the back of your rib cage, and your head and neck follow. Two more. Bring that down and then come up into a shell. Lift yourselves up, lift your waistline up towards the ceiling and sit back. Onto your heels. And now position yourself in a side-lying position on the mat with your knees bent, your heels in line with your sitting bones, and your arm out here. If this doesn't feel so comfortable through your shoulder, just bring it forwards and put a couple of blocks or a cushion underneath your head. Your pelvis stays neutral. So we haven't slumped towards the mat. The world has just been turned on its side and we're still in a nice upright neutral position around your pelvis. And then lift a leg and lower it down. And this clam really comes from your hip. The movement comes from your leg. Your leg is rotating, the bottom leg presses into the mat and the top leg presses upwards towards the ceiling. But we're not taking our bodies with us. You're staying facing the direction, your body's staying facing the direction that you are, and you're keeping this little mouse hole here at your waist. Just do two more on this side. And then come around onto the opposite side. I'll show you this one from the back. Heels in line with your sitting bones, mouse hole at your waist, pelvis in neutral, and then lift and lower. Breathe out as you lift and lower. And the movement comes from the top of your thigh, in your hip socket, that leg just rotates. It's like you're opening a book, just opening the front cover of a book, and return. Take a couple more on this side, open, and release. 2 more. And return. Perfect. And then bring yourselves up onto all fours. Bring yourselves to kneeling. Look straight ahead. Reach your arms up towards the ceiling to finish. Lift your chest. Extend your spine. And then circle your arms around by your sides. Thank you for joining me.